and can sit down with you and look at you right in the eye and help you with these problems with the IRS. We survived last week, most of us. Some of you filed but couldn't pay or got an extension. You don't know how you're going to handle it. Even in 6 months, it's a lot of money. Sometimes we get hit with unexpected stuff with that crazy code. Let him help you sort it out. There are programs to help you settle for less. There are programs to help you get them off your back, because are actually rights that you have to keep the government from being unfair in their collection attempts. And Perry knows all this. This is why he set up Axiom, to help folks that get what I call sideways with the IRS. Y'all, Axiom Tax Resolution Group, 205tax.com, 205tax.com. All right, let me run through some things. We'll start back at the top with some of the latest stories. We've got time to go to more of your phone calls too this hour, so y'all bring them, 545-9950. First up, let me just do this little weather nugget. We don't have a whole lot, but forecasters today started spitting out maps for next week on Monday. I guess, ironically, April the 27th is the date, but we could have a round of severe weather. Not to say we're going to have April 27th type weather, but it'd be one of our first rounds that shows some significant potential for severe weather. We do have some rain coming in on Saturday. We've got a much more wet pattern, as the forecasters were telling us last week, which we desperately need. Fire warnings and red flag warnings having to be put out almost daily around the state for different situations. And so we do need that rain. We don't need tornadoes, so hopefully it won't develop into that. But there's that outside chance. Right now we're at a level 2 of 5 for potentially having severe weather on Monday. So just a little heads up. We'll have more detail from our forecasters by the end of the week. Trump has extended the ceasefire for a few more days. He doesn't say exactly how long, that I can tell, because we are potentially Pakistan came and said, we're trying to figure out who to negotiate with in Iran. They're trying to be an intermediary and keep the ceasefire going. We're going to keep the blockade in effect. And there are many people in intelligence circles that believe the blockade is right now, in this moment, after we've hit 17,000 targets is my understanding of the total, that this is the most effective strategy. It's turned the Iranians internal. They're fighting with each other. There are different factions trying to wrestle for control. You kind of want that right now. Rather than it's better to have a wait on a deal with whoever's really in charge than try to create a deal like we did Friday that with somebody that's going to get undermined by somebody back in Iran that doesn't want to surrender. So the pressure's building. They can't rearm. They can't catch up. There's no advantage to the clock ticking right now based on their economy. Their economy was already in rough shape before we even started the bombing at the beginning of March. They had a water crisis in the capital city. They were getting by on black market exports to China. We have cut that off. They can't import gasoline right now. We've kind of cut that off. Their oil rigs, if they have to keep those things moving. If you've ever siphoned, try to put it in sort of colloquial terms, if you've ever siphoned anything, where once you get the water flowing through the tube, you need to keep it continuously flowing. At some point, the Iranian oil wells start to lose capacity. They start to lose capacity to store what's coming regularly out of the ground. They can't offload it or ship it. They got nowhere to put it. They got to stop the wells. When you stop a well, it's extremely difficult to restart the well. You stop the mechanism by which it is flowing and sort of siphoning out of the ground. That's a very simplistic way to put it, indeed. But that's what's happening to Iran tonight. They're facing a lot of economic consequences, which could put a greater squeeze to the street level than anything we could bomb from the air. I say let it play out. I'll give Trump and his team some space. They know more intelligence about what's on the ground than we do. And it keeps the ongoing talks potentially with Israel and Lebanon to solve that part of the equation in the region as well. So we all got to pray for peace at some point and a change of that regime for real in that country. Could go sideways. It could get worse. Let's watch it. Let's watch it play out. We're also understanding that the Senate has moved forward a funding bill for that could use the reconciliation process to fund DHS after that protracted shutdown and the mess the Democrats caused with their stand. They've managed procedurally to move that forward today. That's also another reason J.D. Vance was held back from going to Islamabad, it appears, so that he could cast a potential tie-breaking vote in that situation today. So he's available to the Senate. We're waiting on the Iranians to get it together. The Pakistanis are doing all the work, and the Senate is about to push through DHS. We just had a news conference a second ago with Todd Blanche, the acting attorney general. And this is outstanding news. Let me just kind of break this down because this affects us. Well, affects everybody in the country, but it's an organization here in Alabama. But Blanche and Kash Patel announced they have indicted a bunch of people at the Southern Poverty Law Center on 11 counts. I need to dig into details of this, and then I'll give you all a little bit of background. The SPLC says they were fighting white supremacy, but they were actually manufacturing extremism and paying sources to stoke racial hatred, according to Blanche. They've been charged in the Middle District of Alabama. That's down in Montgomery. The SPLC, or maybe even here, Birmingham. I think Middle District is, I think we're the Northern District. The SPLC has been hit with 6 counts of wire fraud, 4 counts of bank fraud, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering. All right, now let me give you some personal opinions, and I'll wait for more details to develop on that, and some of you may have some opinions as well. I used to interview Morris Dees way back in the day. When the Southern Poverty Law Center came along, I think it was in the late 80s, they actually sued the Ku Klux Klan out of business. They won a huge lawsuit that formally took down that organization. Hate didn't go anywhere. Some people still pretend to be in the Klan, but as a group, they lost in court to the SPLC. So the reason to tell you that backstory is they actually started, sure, they were a bunch of classic liberals, but that was fine with me in those days, fighting a civil rights fight. And they became this sort of premier civil rights legal firm based out of Alabama, of course. But then something changed over the years, and they needed, there's an old saying that if you're a hammer, all you're looking for is a nail. That became the SPLC. And then they learned to raise money off hate themselves. And they had to have villains. They had to have targets. They have taken some very innocent people in this country and put them on their hate extremist list. I think if I remember right, even Dr. Carson was on their list at one point. Dr. Ben Carson, one of the meekest, mildest men ever, simply because of his right of center beliefs. So they began to slowly start threatening people, as litigious law firms can do, parasitic law firms that prey on folks through threats of lawsuits. But they raised tremendous amounts of money. And there was a scandal a few years ago where they offshored a bunch of their trust fund in the Cayman Islands. So, and I want to say, if my memory serves, they had squirreled away like $1 billion or something down offshore in the Caymans, putting it beyond the reach of some who would attempt to get at it. I used to have an office right up the hill. I could actually see their building from my window in my office when I worked down in Montgomery. And I remember they always had a security guard who would just stand around out there all day long on the corner, because I'm sure in its day, in the early days of the SPLC, I'm sure they got death threats. I'm sure some of the brave work they did in the early days has just been perverted. And then they went from playing defense and defending the civil rights of people, and they aptly named it the Southern Poverty Law Center, as if they're handling legal cases for people who have no education or no ability to pay. That completely changed. Y'all, I'm telling you, they became a version of a legal terror organization against people that are not on the extreme political left, and to the point where now we're seeing activity that, according to justice, has become criminal. The way they targeted people, some of the stuff they were doing on the ground, in some ways they had to justify their own existence. You got to have a boogeyman if you're going to raise money. Unfortunately, a lot of politics works this way. You've got to have a villain. And trust me, there are Republican organizations and or conservative organizations that will do the same thing. They will fundraise off crises and fear, and from some very good people. But the SPLC has taken it to a graduate level. They've collected millions and millions of dollars for themselves by stoking fear, threatening people, and putting activities on the ground that now our Justice Department says have crossed over into criminality. Hallelujah. I hope they break that place, because it has become an abomination and it's a stain on the state of Alabama. By the way, the major networks will source them as if they're a legitimate source. These people have become radical activists, doing guerrilla tactics all over this country, stoking racial hatred, keeping the division going. Racial division is a tool of the communist movement and the globalist movement. They've long sought to do that here in this country, because unlike, let me just take you back to the Soviet Union. When the Bolsheviks took over, it was class envy. They have to build emotion and envy of people that are not the downtrodden in order to stoke the kind of energy they need to take over things. Okay. So in the days of the Soviet Union and the Bolshevik Revolution and all that, it was a homogenous culture. They were all white Eastern Europeans, but they had money and immobility and other issues to bring their revolution about. They've gone about the business of trying to sow those seeds all over Europe. They tried, of course, all throughout the world and in the United States repeatedly, especially since about the 1920s. They were trying it in Europe to get a beachhead, and they stumbled upon something years ago that is easier for them to do, and that is race tribalization. It's not just class envy, where poor people hate rich people or people in the middle hate both, whatever, because that doesn't work. Why does it not work in America? Anybody paying attention? Upward mobility. There are too many examples of poor people of all races that started with nothing and became incredibly successful in this country. It is the promise of America. And they've not been able to defeat that iconography that you can make something of yourself if you try. Now, the left always wants to defeat that notion in kids and anybody coming along, because if you can do it on your own, you don't need a big central government. So that idea is the enemy of everything they believe. Believe me, I'm going to wrap back to the SPLC. So over time, race became an easy target. Years ago, the Communist Front here in this country were trying to stoke division among particularly black males in prisons. That was a target. They thought they could indoctrinate them, get them freed, and have them create an uprising. They needed an uprising in our country to try to get a foothold in the United States. That never worked. Why did that never work? Christian church. It was vocal. It was in people's homes. It had a better message, a message of hope and peace that came with Christianity, that defeated all that pessimism and envy and hate and bitterness that is taught by a communist and globalist, and has been since 1917. So we come to the Southern Poverty Law Center. They're a tool in the efforts to keep people racially divided, because the divisiveness is the goal. Divide and conquer. It's Sun Tzu. It's the oldest military strategy in history. You've got to keep people hating each other. And they really hit the gas in 2020 with the BLM movement and the street action and all the stuff they're doing. Constant, DEI was a big part of that too, constant animosity between races, presuming that if you are of a race, you're all the same. Well, they also try to teach diversity. How is that? It's like the panel cartoon I saw the other day where this black character says, you don't know what it's like to be put upon because of your race. And the white guy says, I just was. I mean, he was just stereotyped, but the guy that claimed he didn't know what something was like. We all have our own individual experiences. We are a nation of individuals. The only way they can defeat that and the spirit of the rugged individual that can do for themselves, care for themselves, take care of their families, and rise in a country like ours, the way to defeat that is to tribalize us into groups that have to hate each other. And it's been working. And the Southern Poverty Law Center has been a big functionary with that, playing along with their trumpets and the amplification that they've gotten from mainstream media people who ought to know the difference in sourcing these bastards and their hate list and their nonsense in their mainstream news reporting. It is an insidious, incestuous relationship that, thank God, we've got people looking into, and I hope these indictments stick. I celebrate this decision. I'm fired up. I don't know if y'all can tell. Blake Lee's Bouquets. We'll go to the phone calls after this if you got anything to say about that. Blake Lee's Bouquets bringing you the show tonight. Maybe there's some sad sack that you need to send flowers to because they're not feeling good. That happens. Man, we all know somebody that's struggling. Maybe you just want to, the other story is love. It's optimism. It's, you want to cheer somebody up or tell them how you feel. Flowers always say that best and always have. And you can do that with our good friends at Blakely's. Make them your personal florist. Their arrangements are beautiful. Their prices are just right down the middle. I love the pricing. I love the delivery system. I love the online way you can order without having to do a whole lot. You can just sneak right on your computer and send those flowers. She can be sitting across the room and never even know you did it. She gets them the next day, and you get a text to know that the flowers got there, the message you were sending got there, and everybody's in love. Blakely's Bouquets. Don't forget Mama this Mother's Day, and don't forget the graduates as we head toward graduation season. They can do them in your school colors too. Blakely's Bouquets. If you want to go see them in Edgewood, they're in Edgewood in the Homewood area. Otherwise, just get online at BlakeLee'sBouquets.com. It's two names, Blake and Lee, BlakeLee'sBouquets.com. We had two comments about playing the Prince music today, AJ, because he died 10 years ago today. One of our listeners said Queen Elizabeth also would have been 100 today. I don't even care. And then another listener said we should play Dwight Yoakam's version of Purple Rain. Let me explain. I love Dwight Yoakam. I love Prince. Those two guys don't need to be in the same room. That version is terrible. And Dwight Yoakam did not die 10 years ago today. Prince did. We're going to leave that alone. You ever heard that version? It's terrible.
No.
It's the worst thing.
I have not.
And again, I love both artists, but he shouldn't have done that. You ever have two friends that you love, but you can't have them in the same room at the same time?
Yes.
Like you get along with them individually, but they don't need to be in the same room.
Yes.
Dwight Yoakam and Prince. I'm just saying. True story. Greg is over here next about the SPLC story. Greg, what's up, buddy?
How are you today?
Hey, man.
Hey, the Morris D's, well, I don't want to say anything that'll get me sued. I'll just say the grift of the SPLC is some of the most heinous and disgusting of all of the race grifters that have come down the pike. What started out as certainly something with a mission and a vision just became a money-grabbing, destructive force, and I hope it crashes. That's all. That's it. I hope the SPLC crashes.
You said, I think the same thing I said, but said it more eloquently. I appreciate your contribution to that. Yeah, it's things can go Frankenstein. I've seen a lot of good organizations just disappear and get co-opted and corrupted. Y'all, I'll tell you, the Christian Coalition went through that. At one point in the 80s, it started as the Moral Majority with Jerry Falwell. That morphed into Ralph Reed starting something called the Christian Coalition. They kept score on these politicians. They put out report cards. Politicians feared the report card, tried to stay in line. They communicated well, talked about policy. The church had a role, had a forward voice. And, man, did they get co-opted. Here in Alabama, they got hijacked by Indian gambling money and concerns. Almost really bought out. All the good people were run off. I don't even think they exist anymore. I know they don't. I don't think they put out the report card. If they do, it's not effective. But in their day, they were effective. But eventually, they got co-opted. I mean, it has happened to groups on both sides. But I'll have to get more details, and I'll look for that during the break as we get down to the bottom of the hour and give you more details on exactly what they have charged this group with. Now, look, they've got so much money. I'm telling you, a simple lawsuit from DOJ may not put them out as an organization. They can survive massive criminal indictments and probably fight it off because they have squirreled away so much money with this scheme that they've run, profiting from hate, stoking the hate, and then making money off of it. Okay, that'll do. Let me get to the bottom of the hour. We'll come back, talk more about this, take more of your phone calls, and see what else we can do to cause trouble on this Tuesday. Lead on Live. Stay tuned. Oh my God, you played it. Why are you doing this to me? I do like the mandolin in there though. Now I love a good bluegrass type cover of a song. Don't get to the chorus though. If you get to the chorus, it's gonna hurt. People are gonna turn the radio off, and I don't need that right now. Oh, here it comes anyway.
No.
Okay, it's not as bad as I remembered. I think I heard a different version of it. Love him. I love Dwight Yoakam. You know that'll be in my head all night while I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah.
I had to go ahead and get the payoff there. Let's go to Thomas over at Stockton Mortgage. Thank you, AJ, for ruining my night. Thomas is over at Stockton. You know, Prince died today, Thomas. So we've been playing some Prince music. He had to throw. He pulled a John Bird and threw some Dwight Yoakam in there and screwed me up.
Oh man, that is terrible. Oh gosh, that's gonna be in my head now all night.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh my gosh, Dwight Yoakam. You know, he has such a unique voice, and you always watch these singing shows and stuff. It's never the one that has the best voice. It's the one that always has the most unique voice that you always remember.
I guess so. Yeah.
And he's actually the poster child of that, which he has a good voice, but it's definitely unique. That's for sure. Got a little frog in there, but anyway, he's a good singer. He's been around a long time for sure. But hey, we're here to talk about mortgages, not Dwight Yoakam's voice. But man, we have it's been another great week, and we have been helping people get pre-qualified for new homes and closing out on homes. And man, we love helping people purchase homes and refinance homes. And one of the things that we've done recently is we had a client that they were had started looking to buy a house, and they just couldn't find what they wanted, and they loved where they lived, and so they looked and looked and looked, and the problem was that they were outgrowing their house. But so what we did is we ended up doing a renovation loan for them. They did an addition. So, and that's one of the programs that we do have here. And I think we've talked to you about that before. You've mentioned that before. And that is a fantastic program. If you love where you live if you love the house that you're in and you love the neighborhood that you're in, we have a program that you can add a bedroom or increase the size of your living room, or add on to your bedroom, or add a bathroom, add that needed bathroom on that you're looking for, and stay right where you are. You don't have to go out and buy a new home. You can improve the house that you have with a renovation loan. And, you may think, well, I don't have enough equity in my home. Well, the great thing is you don't necessarily have to have equity, because you're building value with the addition that you're putting in. So you don't necessarily have to have equity, because it's not a cash out situation. So we can do it without you having equity in your home. So give us a call today. Let's sit down and talk to you about how we can make that dream a reality of adding on to your home and building that addition on, or renovating that kitchen, or whatever dreams you have. Give us a call today, 205-859-8859, or savewithstockton.com.
Savewithstockton.com. That's good stuff, Thomas. We appreciate you, my brother.
Yes, sir, man.
All right, there's Thomas tonight, both a commentary on Dwight Yoakam and great mortgage advice. This SPLC thing is huge in what the Justice Department, the FBI, is claiming that the SPLC was up to. I've always suspected this. Let me give you my suspicions, then I'm going to let you hear from Cash Patel. You'll see these phony Klan rallies. We saw these groups marching around during the Biden administration called the Patriot Front. That looked like a bunch of feds. Y'all, they have to fake hate in this country to keep their agenda going. They have to fake these groups. They have to pretend. Remember how all these politicians simultaneously were saying white supremacy is the biggest threat to America? And all of us would go, oh, yeah, well, where is it? Where are these groups that are supposedly meeting off in some secret handshake woods? That's not happening. We know it's not happening. This is not 1955 anymore. And so who was the was it Maxine Waters that screeched out something like, they're meeting up in the woods? It's not happening. So the SPLC has gotten paid. They've gotten caught paying millions of dollars to groups to set this stuff up to, in other words, they were giving money to people that were claiming they were a Klan group to stoke them, to get them organized so they would have something to fundraise. Just listen to Kash Patel. This is insidious. They should arrest all of them. All of them. Let me see. Here we go.
Law Center, in a massive, sweeping indictment, has been charged with allegations of fraud and using the banking system to perpetrate that fraud. I just want to talk about a couple of brief things here. The Southern Poverty Law Center themselves advertise to raise money to dismantle violent extremist groups for a period of at least a decade. They use their donor network to raise money to purportedly dismantle violent extremist groups. However, the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, used the money they raised from their donor network to actually pay the leadership of these very groups. I just want to say that again. They used the fraudulently raised money by lying to their donor network, thousands of Americans, to go ahead and actually pay the leadership of these supposed violent extremist groups. The groups, as the general laid out, include the Ku Klux Klan, the United Klans of America, Unite to Right, National Alliance, the National Socialist Movement, the Aryan Nation Motorcycle Club, and the National Socialist Party of America, and also the American Front. In at least one of these matters, our investigation revealed that funds were used to facilitate the commission of further state and federal offenses, totaling over $3 million. Furthermore, our investigation revealed that the Southern Poverty Law Center, on top of perpetuating this widespread, decade-long, multi-million-dollar fraud, conducted more criminal activity. They attempted to hide their criminal activity from our financial banking network. They set up shell companies and entities around America so that the financial institutions that we rely on as everyday Americans were deceived in believing that money was not coming from the Southern Poverty Law Center in the perpetration of this scheme and fraud, but rather fictitious entities they stood up to perpetuate this ongoing fraud. This is a serious and egregious violation of a group that purported to dismantle violent extremist groups, but in turn actually only fueled the hatred. This is an important case brought by President Trump's administration. We're thankful to the president for his leadership and funding of not just the FBI and DOJ, but his commitment to go out there and wipe out fraud and conspiracy and waste and abuse wherever it occurs, including the Southern Poverty Law Center. Even though this money was made to appear to be coming from legitimate people and legitimate entities, we at the FBI, with our great partners at the Department of Justice and in the state of Alabama, were able to comb through a decade worth of material, a scheme that took a decade to build, so that we were able to follow the money, because money never lies, and they got caught. As the Attorney General said, these charges are varying, they are widespread and wide-ranging, and this investigation is very much ongoing. Today we're here to announce the charges of the Southern Poverty Law Center, and this investigation and the individuals who are responsible will be brought to justice. Thank you, General.
So I don't see the individual names, and I'll be looking very much forward to that and see how they assign that to the structure itself, because they were pretty good at setting up plausible deniability, again, offshoring funds. This is way deeper than I even have time to get into here at this late hour on the show. Another element to the story is apparently it's been assigned to Judge Emily Marks in the Middle District. She is the chief district judge for the Middle District. She is a Trump appointee, so it won't go to one of these rigged, sort of judge-shopped left-wing judges that were put on the bench by Obama or Biden. All we're asking for is a fair hearing on this. If they did these things, they should be held accountable for sure. All right, man, just one of those days. We are getting after it here on the show. 545-9950 is the phone number if y'all want to get in on it. Bring it. Lonnie's Furniture Company bringing you the show tonight. I do appreciate John and all that they've done for all these years to help so many people in our audience. It really is a superstore. I remind you of that all the time. It's one of those stores that you wouldn't suspect this kind of selection, this much beauty and quality in a little small town, but there they are in Kimberly, Alabama. Been there for a couple of years now. They decided to move from the original location and go down to Kimberly and take the warehouse and flip the script. Instead of it being the giant open space place where they stored things in boxes and organized all their inventory, they'd make it a beautiful showroom, and they did. It's gorgeous. They put a big window in the building to let natural light in, so you can really see what that furniture looks like. And it's almost an acre, so you're going to get names just all throughout the store, and they're so helpful when you get there. Lonnie's Furniture Company, off exit 280. I don't ever say 280. I don't want y'all to think they're on 280. I try to be clear about that. They're on 65, just right off that exit. You can't miss them if you get off on that exit and head south. And put them in your GPS. I think by now they're all in all the GPS devices. And go see some of the finest people in the business, the finest furniture, the latest styles, a lot of it, and get a deal. Even when they're not running a sale, and sometimes they'll run a special, they've got deals all over that store, Lonnie'sFurnitureCompany.com. And one more item for the home. Let me talk to you about Alabama Bass. Got to play a little catch up here as we get ready to close things down. Man, this organization been around for 40 years. Lonnie has been around for 93 years. Here's Alabama Bass, well over 40 years with Mike alone. You add up the experience in that family that runs this place, and you got people that really know a thing or two about making your bath more beautiful and safer. That's what it's all about. It's Alabama Bass. Let them come and replace what you have, especially if you got one of those sketchy, slippery tub shower combo things. You don't need that. That's out of date. You're going to fall in there. Let's replace it. Or maybe this is for your mom or your dad. Their prices are better than their corporate competitors. They've got everything you need. Shelving, handles, seats, slip-proof surfaces. It just makes sense. Stay in the home you love where all your memories are. You don't have to move. You can retrofit that home and make it safer for you and get along with your life. Get refreshed in there with a nice hot shower. It's alabamabass.com, alabamabass.com. Still the best halftime show song that has ever been done. Nobody will beat it. It's not going to happen. And I would like to apologize to Dwight Yoakam personally on the air because I forgot about this, AJ. There was a worse version of this song. I don't know if you remember this. Mm-hmm. It was me and Will the Chubb Father at Celeria one night. I don't know how this happened. I think Will's band was playing. He asked me to jump up, and he just turned and said, "Purple Rain." I knew it was in B. I can't remember who. I think maybe Will sang it. Will, if you're listening, you might remember this. We got through the song, but I felt like I dishonored Prince by the end of the song. But we tried because it's a hell of a song. Mm-hmm. Not everybody can do. You just can't go do Purple Rain. Don't go to a karaoke bar and think you're gonna do Purple Rain.
Oh yeah.
Find something else.
Yeah, there's some songs you just can't touch.
Because if you screw it up, it's terrible. If this song's not done right, it's not. It's just not the same. So, just trying to warn you, kids. Can you imagine that song is probably? That song's 45 years old. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think. What was that? 83, 82, 83, somewhere in there. 84. Hit it. When he gets mad there, it reminds me when he tried to throw that phone book in the movie Purple Rain.
Yeah.
When he pitched a hissy fit.
Yeah, he was throwing the musical sheets, and then
yeah, he was mad.
He was real mad, and he saw that his dad wrote this song, I'm assuming.
Whoo! And he throws stuff around his room, and he's trying to Prince a little dude, man. I'll never forget, I worked with this girl named Theresa at one of my first TV stations, and one of his videos came on back when videos would just pop up on the TV screen all the time. We were walking through, I was standing in the newsroom, and one of his songs was on, I can't remember what was out. This would have been about 1991. And she just looked at TV, and she turned her face up. She wasn't a fan, I guess. She goes, "He's a nasty little thing." I'll never forget her saying, I was like, "Don't we talk about Prince?"
Man, I remember, what was it an award show? He came out with those, with his cheeks out, or those pants.
Oh, yeah, had his booty out. I forgot about that.
God, talk about controversy.
Dang. Controversy. Well, she had played that one. Man, I got Prince stories. When I sound check, AJ knows this story. If I set up PA speakers or we're doing a band setup, I'm telling you, the best song to sound check your mix is "I Want to Be Your Lover." I'm not kidding. It's got bass. It's got some good hi-hat. You can hear all the ranges on that song. I'm telling you.
Yep.
Trying to give y'all a pro tip. Work Trucks bringing you the show tonight. TRUX, WorkTrucksLLC.com. Y'all reach out and let them help you. If you've got a business, if you're trying to get up and down the road, they've got box trucks, cargo vans, passenger vans, flatbeds, pickup trucks, everything in between. Big old giant service trucks that I don't even know exactly what they do, but they've got them down at Work Trucks. They go and find these things off lease and bring them back here. That's the hard part, tracking them down. You can't just find these like you can passenger cars, and y'all can run around and go to auctions if you want to and try to find one coming through that's right, but they've already done that for you. They find them off lease, bring them back here, and get her done. You're trying to focus on what makes you money, and that's what you should be doing. Let them handle your fleet stuff. It's TRUX, WorkTrucksLLC.com, WorkTrucksLLC.com. Also, while I'm at it, Storm Restoration Roofing. I mentioned we've got some strong weather coming in potentially Saturday, potentially really severe weather on Monday. We'll wait and see what Monday brings, but we are in tornado season. If you wind up with a hailstorm or something going wrong on your house, y'all let Greg Nelson come take care of it. He's a guy you can trust. He knows his stuff. He can get it done for you. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. He works on a phone number, and I've told you all about Greg and his almost 30 years of experience and how he works with all the insurance companies. He knows all of these guys and what they require so that you can put together a proper claim. It's Storm Restoration Roofing, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531. What have I missed, AJ? It's been a crazy day. We've had all this outbreak of news. Of course, I told you all about Trump and the extension of the ceasefire. I think that's good news. I'm not just trying to blow sunshine. there's no point in us going back and pounding ridiculous targets that may not have any effect on the regime in place. This economic, they created an opening by closing the strait and agreeing to a ceasefire that they wouldn't hold, let our ships into the strait. Now we're blocking them. Chess move. And we should keep that pressure up. It looks like it's working. It's driving them crazy, and all the intelligence reports are that the Iranian commanders are fighting with each other right now as to who's in charge. That's where we want them. That's exactly where we want them. It'll be fascinating over the next few days to see how this stuff plays out. So much possibility, so much possible peace dividend upside to all of this if it can just play out. Y'all, I'm way behind on our sponsors, so let me do a couple more on the way out the door, and then we'll call it a night and make room for breaking bread. Mandu's another place for you to get it right, get it tight. Here comes swimsuit season. Oh, yeah, ladies, men. We'll be out there with fewer clothes on, but some of y'all are going to the beach. If the old school gyms are not cutting the mustard, you need to try something different. It's the definition of insanity is keep trying to do the same thing. All I know is as your body ages, the gym doesn't work like it used to. You got to do twice as much, or you can hurt something in there. Go try Mandu. It's different. It's electronic muscle stimulation, and it may be just the ticket to avoid the meat markets that have become the gyms, that sweaty mess, waiting in line, all that equipment. This is less strain on your body, and it's really effective. It's a shorter amount of time, 15-minute workout. They can have you in and out of there in no time flat. It's Mandu. They've got a location in Homewood on 29th, downtown Main Drag. Y'all can go see them there, or you, of course, can catch them in Tuscaloosa over on University Drive. Go see Paul here in Birmingham, or those guys over in T-Town. They've got a location in Huntsville now. It's an incredible concept. It's called Mandu, M-A-N-D-U-U, mandu.com. Wow, it's already Tuesday. It's only Tuesday. Lord have mercy. Stories all over the place. We've had probably more developments and headlines come across. I'm fired up about this SPLC thing. I want to know more about what they're doing. I'm sure there'll be more reaction to that tomorrow. Let's see what Virginia does. Are they about to commit suicide, get themselves into a legal hole from creating this ridiculous gerrymandered district, or is there enough common sense left in that state? It's a mysterious state to fight this off and have some fairness in their elections. We'll find out tonight. Polls close here any minute. They'll be counting them pretty soon. All right, that's going to do it for me. Y'all stay tuned for Will, the other guy who sang Purple Rain with me. Is Will on tonight?
Yep, he is on tonight. I got to actually go downstairs, go get him.
Oh, AJ's got to go, so I'm going to go. Bye. See y'all.
Stay tuned for Breaker Break coming up next. Yeah. Goodbye, AJ.